But next to cross the line will be one of the Ferraris. It's Koffel, as Womax thinks he's done enough. He retires from the session. He's currently sat P3 with a 28.4. Coffee takes a weird line through a Casio triangle, but seems to make it work as he heads out the final corner, opening up the DRS. His teammate is behind, goes third on the grid. Mirko doesn't improve, but still, it's provisional pole as Weather goes P4. Next across the line will be a McLaren. It is Welsh Sponge as he comes up to the line and improves to P7 with a 1:28.5. Next cross line will be his teammate, stays P14, but the Williams of the championship leader, I can't remember his name, goes P3. Jonas P2. Next across the line will be Mitch in that Mercedes. I don't think he's on a lap. He might not be on a lap though. But we will see as he comes around the final corner. He is on a lap. He's improved in the middle sector, opening up the DRS, crosses the line, only good enough for P3 with a 1:28.1, and that is 5. We're going to go to 5. Red lights. For the Japanese Grand Prix, it is lights out, and away we go. And Mirko gets a good launch, covers off Jonas into turn 1, but English. It's a lot of battling behind as Welsh Sponge already gained a place off the start as the kick Nello and Womax who go side by side through the S section and further back. Killshot already gained 3 places off the start, started P16 up into P3 as further up the field Mirko already has a 4/10 gap over Jonas. It may not sound like much as he heads through the Degners for the first of 27 times in this race, and it is Mirko who leads, but it is Mirko and Jonas gonna look down the inside into turn 1 and takes the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. They're gonna go side by side. Mirko still has that nose up the inside, and Jonas didn't get a good run through turn 1 and turn 2. And Mirko was able to get that switchback and able to take the lead back as Weather retires. We've got a virtual safety car, and it looks like Weather is in the barrier as they were close together. And speaking of an Aston Martin, Womax and Coffee going side by side into the Degners. This is not going to work properly, and Coffee says, "You're not getting past, I'm taking that position back." But further up, and Mitch has actually got past Jonas, but so has his teammate Deco. So has Jonas made a little mistake? We've got a yellow flag and there's a Ferrari round, and it is Coffee round at the hairpin, facing the wrong way, and Coffee in that Ferrari doesn't look for a move, but we'll see if they can lose, if they're going to do anything, because Deco again has a look round the outside of turn 3, and Mitch makes a little bit of a mistake, and Deco gets squeezed to the inside of turn 6, and Deco going to have the outside for Dunlop, gets a little bit squirrely, and Mitch keeps that P2, but these two squabbling is just helping Mirko trying to build that 1 second gap to get them out of DRS to run away and try and take this race win come the end of the race as they head into the hairpin. Deco sends it down the inside, and Deco takes the place basically on Deco's gearbox. They're going to go side by side into the Casio triangle. This isn't going to end well as they make a little bit of wheel banging, a little bit of contact, but Mitch still stays P3 and Deco keeps his second place, gets the DRS as well as Mitch. We're going to go on board with Mitch as he heads down in towards turn 1, gets the move and takes that second place, but they go side by side, and Deco goes off the track, gets a 3-second time penalty, comes back onto the track side by side with his teammate. Having a good race. We've got a yellow flag, and that's the McLaren of Carl off the track. Having a little moment through turn 2. Down the main straight into turn 1 as Jonas going side by side with Mitch in the Mercedes. The top two don't look like they're moving, but Jonas backing out of that move as they head into turn 1. But now they're going side by side, and Deco makes the move. They're going to go side by side through the center, through the S's, and Deco makes the move round the outside of turn 5 And that's a brilliant move for the lead. And he takes the lead of the race. And Mirko, a little bit of a moment through Dunlop, getting a little bit too close. Mitch already getting some moves done on Derek Killshot, who started on those hard tyres. And he's now going side by side with Deco. Obviously wanting to get through that traffic as quickly as possible so they don't lose time. But Deco's still going side by side with Derek Killshot into Spoon Curves we go. And actually, I think Killshot might have got a little bit of damage from Deco, just cutting across him a little bit, unless he had that before. But the leaders pull into the pits, and no speeding for the both of them, unlike Mitch. And I think Deco as well got a 10-second, as the lobby is lagging a little bit with things. But where are the net race leaders? Here comes Mitch and Deco down the main straight. Are they going to get ahead of the two? Yes, they are. Their undercut has worked. And Mitch and Deco are now fighting for the race win. And Mirko instantly, not liking the heat put into those hard tyres, going off the track straight away at turn 1 as well, meaning he won't have a time penalty to serve, which will be added to his race at the end of his race. Added to his race time at the end of the race. As Deco has a big moment out of the final corner and ends up losing position down to P4. He just got I think he just touched the grass a little bit, upset the car. However, the battle for P5 is still brewing, with Sponge and Edvia going side by side down towards turn 1, and Sponge gets the move done on Edvia again, back up into P5, which will be a net P3. And once the penalties get applied, but further back Nello has had a spin in the kick Sauber at turn 6 and loses the positions to both the Astons. And now he's going side by side with Killshot through Dunlop. They're still going side by side. One's on mediums, one's on hards. Who's going to get the better into the Degners? And the kick Sauber holds it round the outside. Yes, he went a little bit out of track limits. Didn't get a good one out of the second Degners. They head into the hairpin. The kick getting on the grass, and they've made a little bit of contact, and the kick goes a little bit deep, and the V-carb of Dead Killshot gets the switch back and gets that P9 off Nello. But Nello isn't going to be happy with that, as he feels like he probably got squeezed into the entry of that corner. 130 and into the Casio Triangle, the Ferrari of Mirko. Going to have a look, and there's a bit of contact between the Ferrari and the Williams. The Williams has to cut the corner, and Mirko takes that position off Jonas, and you just knew that was going to happen. Side by side into the Casio Triangle, especially if you're the car trying to send it round the outside. The car on the inside is just not going to give enough room, and now they make contact into turn 1, and they're both going sideways, and Jonas and Mirko both catch their slides. This man Mitch dominated the race ever since those pit stops came around, had a great battle with Deco, but Deco made a little too many mistakes. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, and Jonas has actually had a little bit of a mistake going somewhere, but Mitch wins the race as Mirko gets past through the final corner, and actually his teammate gets through as well, as Nello takes that fastest lap away from Don Dedge. But it's going to be Jonas that wins the race after penalties applied. It's going to be Welsh Sponge taking home P4, Edvia P5, Deco has dropped to P6. It's going to be the Aston Martin of Womax finishing P7, followed by Don Dedge, who missed out, who had the fastest lap till the very last lap, and isn't going to get it. Dead Killshot finishes P9, and Coffee finishes in P10, but would he gain anything? No, stays P10. The commentator finishes P11.